Hello YouTube, it's Rob from Maxwells Grass Cutting Services. I hope everybody's well and having a great day. It is hot, it's so hot, and for the month of June and July we've had very little rain in the northeast of England, and I know people down south have had it tougher than us. And today's video, is the green gold still growing and how do you keep it growing? Well, the answer in short is yes, it's growing in the northeast, but it's struggling. The lawns are under stress. So here's my take on how easy for me to say, I keep my lawns in as best condition as I can. And the first thing is, once we got to about June and you know it's going to be dry, I switch all my mowers to mulch. Even the ones where I lay down a few stripes, I put the striping mower away and I get out the Honda HRX 537, which you can mulch and you can bag, or there's still RM 650V, which you can take the bag off and put the mulching plug on. And every week, religiously, I get the blade off and I give it a sharp with the angle grinder, and then I put the blade on with the torque wrench. And when the grass is so dry and you've got a lovely sharp blade, and another little tip is if you just raise the height a little bit more than you normally would, and when you're mulching, the lawnmower is cutting the grass several times, displacing it onto the lawn, then overnight we still get a bit of dew, and that turns that displaced clippings into nitrogen, and it's keeping the lawns alive, especially on new builds. I've found that it works a treat on new builds. Some of the bigger lawns, I have to go over with a leaf blower and just displace the clippings a little bit so they can't see it. But on the smaller and medium lawns, if I find I can see the grass clippings, I just double cut it, and it takes seconds, and I find that that is working a treat. And yes, you might say you're spending more time because you're double cutting, but you're not emptying the grass bag, so that's balancing out, and you're guaranteed a next cut. You're not having and touch wood, I haven't had any customers ring me and say, Rob, don't come this week because the grass just hasn't grown. So that's the major thing. And I still get questions, Rob, I want to buy a rear roller. I've got a four-wheel mower, but I want to lay down some stripes. For me, I would be buying a mulching mower before I bought a stripe mower. I've got a striping mower. I've got the Honda HRX, I think it's a 476, and it's lovely. I really like it. It does a great job, and nobody can argue that the stripes look better than the non-stripe. However, it's all about practicality and you know, trying to keep them lawns looking as nice as they can. So for me, a mulching mower is an essential bit of kit, especially when the weather is so dry and the lawns are dry. So that's one way that you can help your lawns. A second way is, what I do is, once I've cut the lawn, I send a message to my customers, and it's, hello there, bill for today is £30, thank you very much, lawn cut, trimmed and leaf blown for a tidy finish. I'll see you in 2 weeks, take care, kind regards, Rob. Something like that. But I just add a little line on the bottom of it, and I say, the lawn is suffering from a little stress at the moment. Well, nobody likes anybody suffering from stress. That word, people don't like it. It would benefit from a drink. If you get the hose pipe out and just give it a light watering, it would help the lawn massively, and it would improve the look and the well-being. Them words, they just trigger in people's brains, and they all say, come out, no problem. And you can tell the next time you go they've been trying, because their lawn compared to the neighbour's lawn, who tend to sort of scalp them, don't they, you know, they cut them too short, they have it up there, then down there, and that just, you know, it's horrendous. You can see that the lawn's slightly improved compared to the neighbours. So mulching and asking the customer just to give it a water. What else I do as well, if you watch my channel, you know I've got the Cooper Pergola, I think that's the pronunciation, the 15-litre backpack spray. And I use a liquid feed. Now that feed's expensive, but what I've found is this year, and I'd started experimenting in June, I don't provide lawn treatments for all my customers. I do some, but not all. And what I do is I fill the Cooper Pergola sprayer up with 15 litres of water, and I add about 20% of what the recommended dose is for the weed and feed on the liquid nitrogen feed. And I put it in, give it a mix up, and then I give the lawn a treatment. And I worked out on a 30 quid lawn, it probably cost me £1 to put that treatment down. And it takes 5-10 minutes, and again, that's work to treat, and it's kept the lawns alive, and it's kept them growing, and it's kept them looking quite green. And at the end of the day, my business, 85% is lawn cutting. So if it all went to dust, I'd be in trouble. And so these little tips, you know, they keep me working, keep the van moving, keep the mower moving, and keep the money coming in, and that's what's important, isn't it? And also you're offering a quality service to your customer, because they'll go out and they'll see that their lawn is looking slightly nicer than the neighbours, and that's what they pay the money for. So that's a few tips. So what I'll do now is I'll show you a few of my lawns. Some are looking stressed, some are looking quite nice, and then we'll come back and I'm going to tell you the final tip. And I've got this tip from a subscriber who he rang me. It might be a couple of weeks ago now, we had a chat, and he told me what he does to keep the green gold growing and keep the lawns looking nice and green. And I thought, you know what, that's quite good, that I'm going to have a pop at that next season. But I'll show you my lawns, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you the final tip. See you in a bit. So this is the first job of the day. This is a commercial customer. I take care of the lawns out the front. There's extensive lawns to the rear and all the shrubs, and it works out. I do about 2.5 hours mowing, and then an hour and a half gardening, general maintenance, keeping the shrubs looking nice. The second one is just a small front garden. As you can see, it's been well looked after. There's a few little stains from the dog there, but it's not looking bad. Considering the heat and the horrendous weather we've had. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this one. This garden is looking a little stressed. I put a stripe down today just to make it look a little nicer, and I've asked the owner to give it a bit of a watering over the next few days, which I'm sure he will, and I'll be back in 2 weeks just to give it another cut and just keep it looking nice and neat. It's one of my first gardens. I've been coming here for years, and yeah, I enjoy it. This is a new build I picked up the beginning of last season. Yes, it looks stressed, but again, I've asked the owner just to give it a drink, and during the next cut, what I'll do is I'll give it a liquid treatment, a feed, and that'll pick it back up. And the long range weather forecast looks good, doesn't it? Yes, we've had a bit of a heat wave, but they don't last forever. I know people down south are suffering a lot more than us in the north, but again, you know, it is what it is. And this is a small front garden. You can see from the edge of the block paving, the block paving's taking a lot of the moisture out the lawn, but it'll recover, and we'll move forward. So there they are. That's just a few of the lawns that I've been working on today. First one was a commercial customer, and they don't get any treatment. I just cut that lawn every 2 weeks throughout the growing season, and I take care of the grounds as well. And also I do winter visits, leaf clearing, etc. But it looks nice and neat, and it's still growing, so that's good. But that customer, if the lawn didn't need cutting, there's always plenty of work to do within the grounds and gardens, so I'm okay there. And the other gardens, yes, they're looking a little stressed, but they're still growing and they still need cutting, which is a positive. So it's just, you know, we're trying to do all little tricks of the trade just to keep us working, aren't we? And as I said before, delivering that quality service to the customer. My final tip. Now, a chap rang me. I won't mention his name, but he's a gardener from down south, and we had a nice chat, and he told me what he does. And what he does is he has a water butt at home, and obviously the water butt fills from the rainwater, links into one of your downpipes, so your guttering. We all know that, don't we? And then he gets a hessian sack, and he goes out when he's working in gardens and he cuts the leaves off nettles, not the stalk, just the leaves, and he fills the hessian sac, he puts that in the water butt, and then nature does what it needs to do and basically turns the liquid into a nitrogen feed. And I thought, you know what, that's a cracking idea. I love doing stuff like that. I've got compost bins at home where I take sometimes customers' grass home and I make compost. And then when I'm doing my garden maintenance, I take a flexi tub full of the compost and I put it back in the gardens. And it's just like, I don't know, I get a bit of a kick out of it. You're doing your bit for Mother Nature, aren't you? So I thought, you know what, later in the season when I've got a bit more time, I'm going to buy a decent water butt, a couple of hessian sacks. I'm going to do that. So next year, if we have a little bit of a drought, all you do is you just, you know, fill your Cooper Pergola sprayer with the weed and feed from the water butt, and then put it down on the lawns and see what happens. Obviously, I'll try it on my own lawn first to make sure it works, and I don't want to ruin people's lawns. But I thought that was a cracking idea. It's free, apart from the water butt, etc. But again, it's using Mother Nature, isn't it? And I like stuff like that, and that's a little bit sad, but I do. So yeah, I thought that was good. So thank you very much to the guy who rang me and told me that, you know, and I'm sure there'll be people see it saying, I know that, I didn't, but I do now, and I'm going to give it a shot. And who knows, this time next year I might do a video of me filling my sprayer up with some free nitrogen sort of feed to keep the green gold growing. Now, I know in the north we're a little bit better off than the people down south in that we've had a little bit more rain, so I hope the people who watch down south aren't struggling too much. I hope you've had a little bit of rain. And you wouldn't believe this, as I made the video, we've had a rainstorm, it's like a jungle shower for about 15 minutes this afternoon. The heavens opened and the rain came horizontal straight down, and it just, no, vertical, horizontal's that way, vertical's that way. It's tough, you know, when you're making these videos, you're under pressure. It came straight down. It was like being back in Brunei. And after about 10 minutes, it just cleared and the sun came out and it was lovely. And I thought, thank you very much. Thank you. The green gold will be growing now, because you can't beat Mother Nature, can you? Mother Nature, when the rain comes down, that's the best thing for the lawns. But we have been struggling. So that's my take on how you keep the green gold growing. If you've got any tips and advice, leave them in the comments, and you know, I love reading them. And finally, I did a video recently about my weed and feed business and how successful or unsuccessful it's been. And some of the comments, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, are fantastic. I've read them, I've took notes, and I've took notes of the products that have been recommended, and I'm doing a little bit of research into the costs of some of these products, which are far cheaper. And it seems to be that if you go to the farm shops, you can get nitrogen weed and feed for your lawns far cheaper than you can if you're going to other places. So thank you for all your comments and support. Well, that's me. I've got one more job to do this afternoon, and then I'll be going home. But thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support, and I'll see you on the next one. And when the green gold's growing, keep mowing. Take care. All the best now.